Good morning, this is Shelby Law with the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Sunday, July 21st, 2024. The main fire potential impacts for the next few days continue to be heat and thunderstorms. Hot temperatures are expected today over southwest Idaho and northwest Nevada, near record-breaking temperatures in those areas. And then the thunderstorms today will move a little bit further northward into northwest Nevada, where there will be a mix of wet and dry. And these areas haven't seen storms for a while, so definitely an impact there. On Monday, the moisture moves a little bit further northward into the central Idaho mountains, where there'll also be a mix of wet and dry. Those fuels are quite dry up there. Further south, some storms over southern Nevada today and tomorrow, and then back into Utah on Wednesday. Yesterday, we did have some thunderstorm activity across portions of southern Utah, the higher elevations of Utah, and across central and western Nevada. Some of these storms did produce a wetting rain here and there. Fire activity yesterday is shown here with 20 new fires for 208 acres. Notable new fire was the fire just north of Salt Lake. That was about 150 acres, I believe, and large fire growth was 111 acres. Precipitation for the past 7 and 30 days is shown here, still showing that same general trend with moisture having moved into Utah, eastern Nevada, and up into southeast Idaho and western Wyoming, with very dry spots still continuing over the central Idaho Mountains, northwest Nevada, southern Nevada, and even this area over the northern Wasatch Mountains. Okay, ERCs are still pretty high across the north where it's been hot and dry, particularly southwest Idaho, the central Idaho Mountains, and northwest Nevada. Elsewhere across central and eastern Nevada, a few days worth of thunderstorms has brought the ERCs down there, and then a couple of pockets with some higher values in the east. This morning's satellite imagery shows an area of high pressure across the entire western U.S. for hot temperatures everywhere, and then we see a little bit of moisture here moving up into Nevada on that satellite imagery. Okay, so for this afternoon, again, high pressure across much of the west, this trough off the Pacific coast, and moisture underneath the ridge here will kick off some isolated storms, mainly across Nevada today and moving into northwest Nevada. Closer look here showing where those thunderstorms will develop. They will be somewhat isolated to widely scattered, but will be kind of on the drier side here over northwest Nevada. So we do have high risk out for that. And then again, looking at the temperatures, very hot today in Boise, 107, and hot in Reno, 102. On Monday, the moisture moves a little bit further northward for some isolated storms over the central Idaho mountains. We do have high risk in for those storms as the area has been quite dry, and these storms will be a mix of wet and dry. So looking at the storms or the precipitation here, we can see again on Monday storms over northern and central Nevada, and then that moisture moving up into mainly the central and east central Idaho mountains for mixed wet dry storms there, and possibly some in western Wyoming. Utah looks clear on Monday. Minimum relative humidities are lowest over the lower elevations of Idaho and western Utah and northwest Nevada in the teens, and a little bit higher over the higher elevations. On Tuesday, we'll see some dryness move into the north, but moisture still remaining over Nevada for some isolated storms there, no high risk. Again, the storms will be mainly over Nevada. Some moisture looks to move into far southwest Utah on Tuesday and over somewhat over the higher elevations as well. We will begin to see return of moisture beginning on Tuesday to the southern Great Basin. Afternoon wind gusts shown here on the right are mainly reflecting thunderstorm outflows. The 3-day precipitation totals are showing that moisture moving up into Nevada beginning today, and then moving up into Idaho on Monday, the central Idaho mountains there. On Wednesday, this trough begins to move further east into the Pacific Northwest and along the Canadian border. That will draw moisture up into the Great Basin. Beginning on Wednesday, we'll see mostly storms enhanced over Nevada and possibly southwest Utah. No high-risk triggers, but there might be some storms coming back into the central Idaho mountains on Wednesday, so we'll be watching that. On Thursday, the moisture continues to move northward and eastward into Utah, so we'll get some storms producing a wetting rain here and there on Thursday across eastern Nevada and into Utah. And then on Friday, the storms will mostly be over Utah. We'll see some of these zones turning to yellow as the storms are capable of producing a wetting rain here and there. And then by Saturday, dry air returns to the Great Basin with storms exiting the region as that trough moves along the Canadian border. 7-day precip totals are shown here. A pretty good amount of precip, well, compared to what we have seen possible over Nevada and Utah, again, mainly central and southern Utah and the higher elevations, and then up into southeast Idaho and western Wyoming. Drier areas continue to be over the central Idaho mountains and southwest Idaho. The extended forecast for July 28th through August 3rd calls for above normal temperatures across the entire Great Basin with the bullseye over the southeast and below normal precipitation as we head into the 1st of August. This concludes today's fire potential briefing. Please check back tomorrow for the latest updates.